Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. We're going to talk about our teams today. We're going to talk about training camp. There's been a lot of news coming out of Vikings camp. I'm sure there is plenty coming out of Eagles camp. But first, I wanted to touch on um, went to the theaters this past weekend and I watched the Spider-Man movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and it there was I have some thoughts, and of course I'm not going to do any spoilers because I'm assuming that you'll probably see it at some point.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I won't give anything away, but um so to start with, the core of the movie I thought was really good. It was very mature as far as the main points is like what everyone deals with as far as loss, pain, um, sacrifice, wanting to do things yourself instead of reaching out for help, isolating yourself, stuff that we deal with all the time. So the core meaning behind the movie I thought was really solid. It had some really good action pieces. I enjoyed the cameos. The Punisher was really good, but there was also just a couple things that Hollywood always just shoehorns in there. There was a lot of language, so if anyone's thinking of bringing kiddos, just there's a lot of language in it because the Punisher's in it, so he has a little bit of a foul mouth. Um, and they had a really random scene where Spider-Man's trying to find some information and he goes to talk to someone who has information, and this person is in like a spa with looks like no clothes on and asks him to take his clothes off, and he goes down to his underwear and sits in the spa with her. It's really weird. They try to make it a comedy part, but I was like, why is this even in here? It's just that didn't need to be in there at all. They're trying to make it all funny and silly, but it was, come on, what are we doing? It was just weird. But overall, the movie's really good. I enjoyed it. I think I liked No Way Home maybe slightly better, but not by
Hmm.
much. This was, I think, the second best Spider-Man movie that they've made recently. I think it competes with the likes of Spider-Man 2 back in the day with Dr. Octopus and stuff. So I thought it was really, really good. It's worth the watch. I think you'd enjoy it. The key meaning and key heart behind it was awesome. Um, but there was just a couple things like, come on, why is that even in there? But the growth that Peter Parker goes through and understands what he has to do is great. The growth, the maturity, the this deep meaning behind it is awesome. So I think it was a really good movie. I think it matches up with like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four of recent, like those kind of quality of movies. I think it was really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's been it's been given a lot of praise. It's done well at the
Hmm.
box office. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a big moment right now for Marvel. They can't
Hmm.
afford to take too many more misses because
Yeah.
the lackluster feeling about these films recently has been pretty
Hmm.
significant. Um, yeah. So yeah, this is a big one. Um, I'm excited or interested to see what happens with the Avengers movie that happens this fall.
Yeah.
Um,
Doomsday. Yeah. Hmm.
so that'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
I'll probably go see that as well. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. I know that they're trying to put everything they can into it, but I'm worried they're trying to do too much. We'll see though. We'll
I
see.
feel like I sent you that video. No free advertising, so I'm not going to name the source. I'm not going to go into it, but there's a person that walks through and describes a pretty interesting theory for what he thinks is going to happen for that film. So I'm excited for that one. But
Hmm.
it's awesome you got to go
Hmm.
see Spider-Man. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great.
I'll have to hear your thoughts once you get to see it. Um, but yeah,
On
no spoilers at all.
that note, I forgot. I saw that Ryan Gosling is the new Ghost Rider.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
That's a pretty big deal. The fact that Ryan Gosling is,
Yeah.
by the way, which I kind of forgot about this, but I realized this past week, like re-realized that Ryan Gosling is in um Remember the Titans.
Yep. One of the receivers.
it's so
Mm-hmm.
it's just so weird because it's like, oh yeah, he was in that movie. Because he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't one of the main guys, right?
Right.
He was just a guy in the film. But it's hilarious
Mm-hmm.
because like he's probably the biggest actor right now from that film. Gotta be. I
Outside
mean,
of Denzel, of course.
well, right, but Denzel's kind of mostly out of the movie scene now.
Yeah.
He dips his toe a little bit, but it's kind of feels
Mm-hmm.
like he's like shifted out. He's kind of
Mm-hmm.
moved on. But yeah, as far as all time, absolutely. Denzel's he's the headliner of the movie. He's the main
He's
character.
the GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I don't think anyone else in the movie really had a big a career as Ryan Gosling.
Anyway, I was thinking about that this week and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, how weird the people that end up becoming famous versus the people that,
Mm-hmm.
don't. It's weird. So, yeah, man, but there's a ton of actors in here that you're like, wow, okay, that's yeah, full cast. So,
Mm-hmm. It's
yep.
probably going to cost them a couple $1 billion. They're going to probably need to make $4 billion, and they probably will.
Dude, it's amazing. Yeah, these movies, it's amazing how much money they can make. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yep. But shifting back to training camp now, sorry, didn't mean to
Yes.
take us down
No.
that
No.
trail.
Hey, I started it. I started with the Spider-Man movie. Um, yes. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start Eagles or Vikings? Because I'm sure we both have a lot of
But we talked
ammunition.
about the Eagles a little bit in the last episode, so you should go with the Vikings first. Plus, we need an update on JJ McCarthy and his eventual reign as the champion of the Vikings, or at least that's what I'm thinking in my head.
I'll end with that because that there is a lot to talk about with that. Um, but some of the first things I want to touch on is talking about extensions. We gave Brian O'Neill an extension. He was in his last year of his contract, our right tackle, who's probably like top five or top six right tackle in this league. And the contract we gave him, I thought was fantastic because he had no guarantee money left, and his cap hit was $23 million. It was, I think, the highest cap hit on the team. And we got that cap hit lower to 14 million, so we saved 9 million this year. And he only has guarantees this year and next year. So we can get out of that contract in 2 years when he turns 33 or 32 or 33, which is just that's the time frame to do it because offensive linemen they can play in their mid 30s. We're seeing like Lane Johnson, he's like what 35 or 36. Oh man, the tackle from the 49ers. I'm not thinking of his name right now, but he's like 38 or 39.
Trent Williams, is that right?
Williams, yeah, Trent
Yeah.
Williams, yeah, he's like 39 years old. We've seen Peters play when he was like 41. So linemen can play when they get a little older. But at that 33-ish range is when you want to reevaluate. So after the second year, we can get out of that contract. We can redo it, whatever we need to do. We have actual line depth now because Caleb Tiernan's looking pretty good in camp. But one of the big things I want to talk about is the defense. It's looking interesting. Jake Galday, I'm loving what I'm seeing and hearing about him, our second round pick linebacker. There was a play in camp where he was, I think, lined up as a defensive end or like a 3-4 edge rusher type player. And he fell back into coverage and tipped a pass. And then it was intercepted by Blake Cashman, our other linebacker. So he's been playing in multiple spots. I love what I'm seeing. I think Flores is going to love having him. And then Caleb Banks, our first round pick, who's had foot issues. Everyone was concerned about his injury. He's been in every practice. He seems healthy. He seems good to go. And he is a mammoth of a man. So if he is as talented as he has potential, and if he stays healthy, lots of ifs, but he could be a game changer. He could be a game wrecker kind of a player. He is big, he is strong, he is fast. Love what I'm seeing from him. But the concern on the defense is our depth at cornerback because Pierre, the cornerback we signed in free agency, he got dinged up a little bit on a pass breakup. So like it was the end of practice, day two, I think it was. He broke up a pass and he fell, and then he left for the end of the practice and he hasn't practiced since. So it's like, okay, what do we got going on here? Because behind him, there's not a lot. We're solid on our starters, but our depth is a little concerning. So we got to figure that out. Nolan Teasley, our new GM, he's been making moves left and right. He signed Jamal Adams, free agent, and
Mm-hmm.
he's basically playing at linebacker, and he's already in the first team. He's been mixing and matching a little bit. I think Flores is going to love him as well because he's one of those guys that he no longer can cover really well. He used to be an all-pro. He's not that anymore. But if he's going forward, going at the ball, he's still got a lot of game left in that of just launch that missile, you go get some sacks. I think he had like 6 sacks last year with the Raiders and as a linebacker, which is good as a linebacker, especially uh, safety linebacker hybrid like he is. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the defense. It's looking very interesting. And then to transition to the offense, the run game. I don't have a lot on the run game yet, but Frank Smith looks like he's making some changes, and it's looking very good. The line is moving. They're running more. They're going out in space more, trying to be more athletic. I love what I'm seeing with it, and they look like they're having a more focus on the run game. Kevin O'Connell in interviews has brought up the run game every single time. So I'm hopeful. I'm not like turning a blind eye thinking, oh, it's going to be great. I know Kevin O'Connell's past. I know his history, but I'm hopeful. All signs are pointing to they're trying to focus on it and they're trying to improve it. They didn't really improve the personnel outside of the rookie they drafted, Damon Claiborne, which I have hopes for, but he's still third on the depth chart, so there's nothing really going on there. But they're trying to improve the scheme and improve how they do the run game, and they're focused on it, which I think is fantastic. So I'm interested to see. We've only had 3 practices. There was a practice on Friday, but there was weather, so it was indoors. It wasn't like a true practice. It was kind of like a walkthrough, just kind of half speed kind of thing. But they had a Wednesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday practice, and then they're off on Sunday. So, but they put full pads on today on Monday. That's going to be where we truly see what's going on. But so far in practice, the defenses looked really interesting, really good. The run game looks like they're trying to change things up. I'm excited about that. And then let's get to the quarterback competition, which everyone in the world thought that was fake. There's no competition. It's Kyler Murray's job. I didn't believe that. You didn't believe that. We believed it was an actual competition, and it has been. Ken O'Connell has stated that it might not be fully 50-50. It just depends on what they're working on at the time. And it's been kind of like that. It's been like 26 snaps here, 22 there, but basically 50-50. It just different segments, who's working that segment. And it's been really interesting to see because at the start, it went one way. Then on Saturday, it went with a monumental shift. And to begin camp, we all could believe that it was kind of Kyler's job to lose in a way. Like I was telling people that I'm thinking it's like 70-30, probably going to Kyler, but don't count out McCarthy. He has a shot at this. He has a legitimate shot. And if he truly shows something, he can still win this job. I have faith in the kid. So the Wednesday and the Thursday practice, Kyler struggled a little bit, especially on like 7-on-7 where it's a passing drill. There's no pass rush and you can truly see the field. He was struggling that. He was like 2 of 6 both days, throwing incompletions, overthrowing receivers. But it is a new system, so you give him a little grace. He's trying to acclimate to these receivers, acclimate to the system, lots of stuff. And McCarthy looked pretty solid the first 2 days. So Wednesday and Thursday, McCarthy, I would say, won those days. Again, Friday wasn't really a full practice. It was kind of half speed walkthrough. They just kind of worked on some plays. But the first 2 real practices, Kyler Murray kind of struggled a little bit. He threw an interception both days, I believe. Overthrew some guys. He wasn't truly seeing the field quite right. And McCarthy, he was more kind of checking down, but KOC all last year said completions, completions, completions. So McCarthy was focused on getting completions. Saturday's practice, which was the first practice to the public, like everyone got to go watch. I don't know if McCarthy was pressing because people were watching or maybe he just had a tough day, but he had a bad practice. Just being completely honest. Like, I think they did it in segments where one quarterback did a full segment and they switched out the quarterback. They did a full segment. McCarthy's first segment, he didn't complete a single pass. He was like 0 for 6. Now his receivers, I think there was like one or two drops, and then there was a couple times when he was just getting rid of the ball because he was being pressured, but he didn't complete a single pass his first segment. He ended well. Like the very end of the practice, he had a few really good throws, but to start, it was tough. And he's the one that threw that interception to where Jay Galladay tipped it, which I don't know if that's fully his fault because Galladay just made an amazing play. He just jumped in the middle of the passing lane, tipped the ball, and then it got picked off by a linebacker. Happens. But he struggled on Saturday. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He struggled. And Kyler Murray had an amazing practice. He looked like he was the savvy veteran like he is. He looked like he understood the system now. He was throwing deep and over the middle, which is what he never did in Arizona. So that was really good to see. Literally, like the first play of his portion of practice, he got the ball as a play action snap. He went over the middle deep to Jefferson on a great pass completion. And I think he was like, I think the numbers where he was like 14 of 18 or something like that. And McCarthy was 8 of 16. That's kind of how the stats went. McCarthy struggled. Again, just one practice. It wasn't in pads. I think today, first pad day, is going to be like the biggest day to see where they're at because they've both had 4 practices. They both had time with both the first and second team going against the first and second team defense. And today is when it's like, all right, it's time. It's time for someone to separate. McCarthy won the first 2 days. Kyler Murray really won the fourth day. So I think it's kind of an even battle right now. It's neck and neck. And with it being neck and neck, edge goes to Murray because he was kind of the leader of the clubhouse to go in. But it's nowhere near over right now. Today is where it really starts. If Kyler Murray shows what he showed Saturday, I think he's winning this job because it was a really good day. Again, it's one day for both guys, but it was a really good day for Kyler, and it was kind of a bad day for McCarthy. I lean more toward closer to the really good day for Murray being more important than McCarthy's kind of off day. Everyone has an off day, but Murray had a great day. If we see more of that, he's going to win this competition. Are we going to see more of that? We'll see. But he looked really good. He hasn't even used his legs yet. Like he's not scrambling. He's staying in the pocket, throwing the ball downfield, which it's awesome to see. He is trying to hunt. He's trying to prove that he does have a deep ball. That's great. It's been kind of off the first few days, but Saturday it was on. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I think edge does go to Kyler because and what is really interesting is the way KOC is running his offense. So another speculation, another difficulty going into this was Kyler Murray doesn't go under center much. He's a shotgun quarterback. How is KOC going to adjust his offense? Because Kyler Murray being what 5'9", 5'10", he can't see over those linemen. He's not going to be able to do it. So how's it going to work? Well, KOC has made some adjustments. Give him credit. He's adjusted his offense a little bit, and to where the first few days of practice, Murray had more snaps out of shotgun, and then McCarthy had more snaps under center. I was like, that's interesting. And then on Saturday, it was kind of the opposite. He wanted to see how they would do. So Murray had some snaps under center. I think it was like 50-50 center and shotgun. And his deep ball to Jefferson was under center shot play action. Deep ball to Jefferson. It was accurate. It was on time. And then McCarthy, he's kind of mixing shotgun, trying to see where. So it's really good to see that McCarthy is trying to adjust his scheme to his personnel. Didn't know if he could do that, but he's doing that. It's really good to see. So it's really interesting to see how training camp's going. Again, edge to Murray right now, but this isn't over. If I was going to guess when they're going to call it, and KOC said he would let everyone know when he's made his decision, which I think is great. He's not keeping it a secret. But I think after the first preseason game is when we're going to know. I think we're going to, all right, we're calling it because whoever wins needs time, needs full time in training camp with the first team to get ready for the season. And I think after the first preseason game, leading up to the first joint practices with the Ravens. I think we'll have a decision by then. Whoever it is, we'll see. Right now, again, Murray's winning just because he was default winning, and I don't think either one have took an edge over the other so far because it was McCarthy to start with, but then Murray caught him with one practice. So we'll see what happens, but it's been a really good practices so far. Love what I'm seeing that KOC is adjusting things, and if it ended today, it'd be Murray, but it doesn't end today. McCarthy still has a shot.
Well, it's interesting. We'll see how that develops. Um,
Hmm.
the part I'm going to be really interested to see is the running game. I think that's the key to your guys' success this year. Because the
Hmm.
running game was just not great last year. And I think that that
When
puts,
they ran the ball, it was very efficient. We were averaging almost 5 yards carry. We're like top 10 in as far as like offenses running the ball
yeah,
per
I see what you're
attempt,
saying.
but KOC just didn't lean into it enough.
Right. And I think that that's the issue though, is how much you're
Hmm.
going to lean into it this year because it's got, because I think I heard someone say that the Vikings were 12th last year in running, 13th.
Something like that. Overall,
And
probably.
that's fine. I think you need more. I think that the Vikings can do more, and they just got to lean
Hmm.
into that. So,
Yeah, and
but yeah,
offensive line is healthy right now. Last year was banged up all the time, so
it's true.
that helps the run game as well.
Yeah, yeah. How's Isaiah Rogers looking? Do you know?
I haven't heard anything, which is usually a good thing for secondary because they're not getting picked on. I don't think he's like picked any passes off or anything, so I think he's fine. I think he's solid. He's 100% locked in as our corner two. It's behind him that there's concerns. So we have Murph, we have Isaiah Rogers, but after that it's like, who's it going to be? We need some help here because they can't play everything. And I know that Flo loves to run more safeties than corners, but there's sometimes you need three corners out there. And right now with Pierre hurt, we don't have three corners. But yeah, I think he's been fine.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. I'm excited to continue to get more updates on that. So, anything
You
else
know,
you wanted to cover from the Viking side of things?
I don't think so. I think I think that's most of it. How are the Eagles looking? How are the rookies?
Well, let's go offense first because I liked how you
Okay.
talked about Kyler Murray. You talked about under center. In the Eagles' first day of practice, that is what they primarily did for all of their passing plays.
Okay.
They went under
Okay.
center. And Jalen looked really good. He had a great pass to Dontavian Wicks. That really impressed people. He had some good shots to Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith has stepped in and looked like a true number one receiver.
Okay.
Did a great job against Quinyon Mitchell, against Cooper DeJean, showing some strides that he's making and that he's ready to take on that role, which has been great. Awesome to see that. Saquon Barkley has been getting involved in the passing game. Tank Bigsby has had some good runs. So it looks like this is a new leaf for the offense. It really does. It looks like that we're really shifting in terms of what we're
Hmm.
going to try to do and what we're going to try to be, which I think is a great change to make. So I'm excited to see that. Um, Jalen had a good first couple of days of practice. His most recent practice was not as good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Just kind of missed some receivers in their windows of where the ball needed to be. Um,
Hmm.
when I was reading the article, it was kind of like trying to say they didn't know if it was Jalen's fault or if it was the receiver's timing fault, but the timing just wasn't there. They got to get the timing down, which I think with the new offense, this should be expected. Timing is going to be an issue because you're adjusting the way things were operating before. Part of the part that's interesting is Brandon Lee Gowden from Bleeding Green Nation leans to believing that Jalen might be a better quarterback by going under center because it's going to force him to play with an internal clock because he's going to be looking
Hmm.
away from the defense as he's setting up for those play action plays. So we saw that the first day, not so much the third day, but it's still developing. We're still working, seeing how things will go. Um, let's see here. Jonathan Grenard has a strained pec,
Hmm.
so not great, not great. But he hopefully will be back soon. We'll see. Um, Jalix Hunt, He is a defensive end for the Eagles. Kind of talked a little bit about him last year, but he's looked really good. He's had a great camp so far, has been a big disruptor. Great news from the other defensive line, which has been great. And yeah, so that's been good so far. The rookies, Mekhi Lemon, Eli Stoward, not been hearing much from them. Been pretty quiet.
Hmm.
So we'll see what
Okay.
happens there. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it on the Eagles front right now. There's still a lot to develop. Safety, no one's really taken off to replace. Um, oh man, he went to the Texans. What's his name? Reed Blankenship. No one's taken over his spot
Hmm.
yet, as of yet. Marcus Epps is the leader, but we'll see how things develop. So that's kind of it on the Eagles front right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's been very interesting to see that new offense because the coordinating last year was one of the main reasons why the offense struggled.
Yeah.
So getting a new OC, having a new game plan, change things up, it's gonna be really interesting to see how that works. And hopefully the O line can stay healthy as well. Uh,
Yes.
that was the two biggest issues. Everyone's blaming Hurts, everyone's blaming Barkley for how poor it wasn't their fault. It was O line and bad coordinating.
Yep.
That's what it was. So if they can get those two things fixed, sky's the limit.
Yep.
So be very interested to see what Mannion, right? It's Mannion.
Yep.
See
Sean
what he
Mannion.
can do. Yeah. He's worked with a lot of good people, a lot of smart offenses with the Packers, the Vikings, and multiple places. So we'll see what he can do.
Yep.
We'll see what he do. It's his first stop, his first year actually doing the full offense. So it's got a lot of pressure because it's a lot of pressure there in Philly.
Yep.
But hopefully he can handle it, and hopefully this offense gets turned around because there's too many playmakers to not have a good offense.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, I don't really have any other questions. I will say it with Grenard is that is the only concern with him
Yeah.
is his health. I don't want to say he's injury prone, but he's been banged up commonly enough in his career. He's had one season where he's played the whole season, and that was in 2024 when he was like the third or fourth highest on the edge rushers as far as sacks come and pressures and all that. He was top five. He was great. It was awesome seeing it. But that was the only year he stayed healthy the whole year. And hearing that, when I heard that like last week before, I was like, oh man, already he's hurt. And it sounded like it was just he was lifting or something and he hurt his pec. I'm not
Yep.
sure, but it's like, man, not even on the field. Come on, Jonathan. Let's get that body together. Let's get on the field. Let's show what you can do. And it doesn't sound like any timetable is set in yet. Like he
Sounds like
still could
beginning of year is what we're
potentially,
expecting. So we'll
yeah,
see. I don't know. It's hard to say at this
yeah.
point. Yeah.
hmm That's tough though. That's tough. He's on the field. He's top five edge rusher basically overall, with against the run in the pass, but it's his availability that's his question mark.
Yeah.
So hopefully, hopefully he can get this behind him and get back on the field and start sacking some quarterbacks.
That's what we're hoping for. So
Yeah.
still early, kind of like what you were saying. We'll just see how things kind of
hmm
develop. So yeah.
Yeah, because someone's got to get Dak Prescott on the ground, and he's one of the best to do it. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, this was fun. Some training camp updates. There'll be more to come because, like I said, pads come on now. That's when
Yep.
it gets real. Is when the pads come on. Start hitting people. Start hearing those clacks. Mm-mm-mm. Football's back, baby.
Yep. Excited to get back on and kind of revisit how things are
Mm-hmm.
going with McCarthy and provide an update on
Mm-hmm.
the Eagles offense. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will see you next time.
we'll see everybody.